We're absolutely crazy.
And I'm Phil.
And you're watching Our Daily Faith.
So we wanted to shoot a quick update video for you to let you know what's going on.
That's a video that's long overdue.
So many of you have been asking us about the Airstream that we've been working on.
As many of you know, we bought a 1982 limited edition Airstream. Did I get that right?
Yep.
It had already been gutted on the inside and painted white. There was still a whole lot of work to do on the inside. And when Phil brought it home from Ontario, we found a whole bunch of soft spots. So we had to rip up the subfloor, fix the frame, fix the leaks, find them all, fix them again, find more leaks, fix them again. And then put the subfloor back down, and then we could actually start on some of the kind of more fun interior stuff. So we've been working on building out and painting the bunk beds, a desk. The person that we bought it from had already bought a whole bunch of IKEA stuff, but he didn't buy everything. So we kind of had to figure out what was what in these IKEA boxes that were not labeled and not organized in any way. I kind of opened one and would kind of look at it and go, okay, well, this is what it is, and this is this dimensions, and this is where it will fit, and we have how many of these. And so I designed the interior of the trailer from that, and then we knew what we needed from IKEA, so we got that order in. So we have part of our kitchen cabinets, but not all of them, and not all the pieces to the ones that we have. We have some more things that we need to order, like mattresses for the kids' bunk beds. Actually, just one mattress for the kids' bunk bed.
Fridge. We need to order a fridge.
Right? We are working on fixing up the bathroom, finishing up the bunk beds. Those are the next steps. And then we'll finish up the floor and get part of the bathroom tiled, and then there's tons more stuff to do. But anyway, in the meantime, something happened. So we are not able to work on it this week.
A week ago, as I was working on this trailer, my brain started to dissolve or go to mush every time I went in there to actually work on stuff. And the last couple of weeks have been great. I'd go in and I'm super productive and I'm building out all these things.
And there's lots and lots of problem solving as we're going along. Lots and lots of it. So lots of brain power needed.
Yeah. But last week, my brain I stepped in the trailer and nothing functioned. I couldn't think. I couldn't even think what needed to get done, let alone do any sort of problem solving. It was just empty. Like I had no brain power whatsoever. And so I came back inside and I felt like God was saying to me, you haven't been spending much time with me, so please come back to me. So I started doing that. I take some time to go and study the Bible, read through the scriptures, but every time I went back into the trailer to work, again, mush, nothing.
Which you asked me for help with the sanding and painting the bunk beds. So I had been working on that project and that was going well. You were working on the bathroom project and that was just like roadblock after roadblock and difficulty moving forward in it. And then, so on Friday comes along and first I get a voicemail from IKEA that says, sorry, your IKEA shipment has been delayed an additional week. At least an additional week.
And that has like a lot of all the stuff that we need to work on next.
Yeah.
And then right after that, we kind of finish up for the day, but then that same day we close the door to the trailer and something within the door mechanism breaks or something, but now we're locked out of the trailer. We cannot physically get back in.
No. The only way to get in is through a very small hatch in the side of the trailer that's, again, very, very small, uncomfortable. I have bruises from getting in and out of it. Way to be going in and out, but we went in through that. I was on the inside and you were on the outside and we were trying to fix and get the door open, but it's still stuck. We are still locked out of our trailer.
And that hatch leads into the closet, so you have to climb into the hatch and then you come out the closet.
Under drawers that we already installed.
Yeah, so the first time I went in, when I was trying to figure out how to get back in, I opened this hatch and then I had to pop the first drawer out of the closet and push it out of the closet.
Yeah.
And then climb in. And then since then I've removed a couple more of the drawers to make it a little bit more comfortable, but it's still not the easiest thing to get in and out of.
So then I said, well, okay, the IKEA order is delayed. So that just messes up our timeline. And now we're locked out. We're actually locked out. And I said to Phil, sometimes God opens up a door, but maybe sometimes he closes it. And is this him just trying to get our attention? Did we miss something? So we got together and we prayed about it, and
we felt very much like God was bringing us back to YouTube, to the podcast, and saying,
I've invited you to be part of this. I want you to be doing this. And you do too. And because this is something that he's put on our hearts, but you haven't been doing it. And not in like a shaming way or anything like that. Just very loving and not condemning, but a very loving, very kind way. You've been so involved in trying to get the trailer done that this part hasn't been happening.
And that's something that I've personally struggled with over the last couple of weeks too, not producing anything for the YouTube channel or the podcast. So this answers that prayer in a lot of ways.
In an unorthodox way. Producing videos and doing the podcast, it's a whole lot of work, and the kids are with us full time and they've got their activities, and I'm trying to do some homeschooling here and there, and then we're both working on the trailer, and there's tons of other stuff that's happening. Anyway, so it's hard to get at it. We needed to relook at our schedule and priorities and revamp it. Just put it in our schedule, and that means that the trailer won't be done as quickly as we would have hoped. That's just the way it is. And I've been doing a lot of just thinking and praying, like, why did you have us buy this trailer? Because that's why we bought it. We felt God was saying to us that we were supposed to buy a trailer, and buy an Airstream. I'm just asking him, what is your plan for this? Are we not even going to get to live in this before we leave for Kona for our discipleship training school with YWAM? And that's a very real possibility. Are you going to get us to sell this at the end of all of this? Or is it meant to be our home next summer? Or are we going to be traveling with it? Are we going to be stationary with it? All really good questions, all questions we've been wondering, and we don't have answers to that right now. We know that we're supposed to be doing our daily faith. We know that we are still supposed to keep working on the trailer at a slower pace, perhaps. At the end of September, we fly back to Kona to do the discipleship training school with YWAM, which is like missionary training for families. And then we're not sure after that. That program will be ending in February. That's all that we know up till now. Some days I feel like, yes, this is awesome, this is amazing, this is such an adventure. And then other days I'm like, what are we doing? We're absolutely crazy. I think that's just a very normal part of the faith journey. On those days and in those moments I really appreciate when other people come alongside and remind me of things that I've maybe forgotten in the moment, that God is good, God is faithful. He's led us up to this point. He's been faithful in providing for us up to this point, and He will continue to do so. When I think about where we were before all of this crazy stuff happened in this past year, I am so thankful, even though it was a super hard year in a lot of different ways. And I know we haven't talked a whole lot about that, so if people are interested, we could follow up and talk about some of that. I wouldn't trade it because of where we are today. We have grown so much. We have healed so much as a family. You know, I got to work on something that I'm super passionate about, which is anti-human trafficking. We got to experience amazing community and meet amazing people and grow deeper in our faith. And there's just so many amazing things that have happened this past year. So I wouldn't give any of that up.
What was really cool through this experience is that God has taught me a lot about ministry through renovating this trailer that He's placed in our lives. And I'd love to share more about that, but maybe not in this video. If you want to check out more about that, I'll be making a post on it on our Patreon account. So you just go to ourdailyfaith.org. That'll take you to our Patreon page. And we have like a lot of blog posts and stuff that we post there.
I didn't even know you had that set up.
I have that set up. I did that yesterday. So if you go there, then I'll be releasing a blog post talking about my experiences through renovating and how God's been teaching me through that. So that's been really cool. And then I've also been studying a lot on apologetics in this period of time. And that also has a story attached to that. So that will also be a blog post on our Patreon page. I might shoot a video about that too.
Cool. We are on Instagram at Our Daily Faith. I am often the one who's posting there, but sometimes Phil posts, and we often share who posts in the stories part of Instagram. The stories stuff is more like behind the scenes or some day-to-day stuff, sometimes some encouraging stuff. This is going to be on YouTube, and we also have a Facebook page. Then we have a Patreon account, and the Patreon account is currently where you can listen to the podcast episodes that we're releasing, as well as some more like background stories from Phil. Some of the stuff that you've been learning, you're going to be posting, I think, to Patreon stories, because there's a stories feature on Patreon as well. The podcast, you don't have to be like a supporter on Patreon to view that. Just go to the Patreon page and you can see that. Whenever we get a couple more supporters, we're going to be looking to start up some additional content that will be for members only. Even if you just would contribute $1, then you're considered a member and you can see some of that content. But every bit counts because we are a full-time missionary family. This is what God has called us to do. Through these videos and through our podcast is part of the way that we help to support ourselves in the work that we do. And so every contribution helps. If you are interested in learning more about us or interested in supporting us or praying for us, you can go to patreon.com/ourdailyfaith. Or now that you've got that link up, I guess you can just go to ourdailyfaith.org. And it'll link you to the Patreon account. Patreon is kind of a cool place where more like an artist community of creators that
kind of goes back to the old days of like when artists and writers and inventors, even like Leonardo da Vinci, had patrons who would support them in their work.
Right.
And so our mission is that we want to help people find a life full of love, joy, and purpose. And we do that through sharing these stories, these accounts that we've heard of tremendous ways of God intervening in our lives.
And to inspire people to take that next step in their journey of faith. So that's it, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.